During my last live stream, I briefly answered whether casinos would tighten up during economic downturns. Today, we'll look a little deeper. While recession indicators are mixed right now, and I'm not an economist, but the indicators are mixed, and in part due to yesterday's positive job report for July. But whether the U.S. is in a recession right now is something of a moot point. In the past, being in a recession wasn't known until about a year or two after a recession had started. But nevertheless, slots enthusiasts are worried that casinos will tighten down their player return percentages due to difficult economic times. But will they? Let's review state data for player win percentages, like what happened during the Great Recession that started in 2007. And I want to thank I want to thank Chuck for his donation. Uh, it was actually Chuck who was the one like, well, you could always check to see what happened the last one in 2007 to, whenever the Great Recession ended. And I'm like, wow, what a great idea. So thank you, Chuck, for inspiring today's live stream. Not your first. But thank you. And thank you for the donation. It is very much appreciated. Okay, so and of course I'll be taking your questions because this is a live stream. I'm only saying that because of course the people who are live here now know it's a live stream, but you might be watching this after the fact. Hello to you watching this recording. Thank you for being here, and be sure to subscribe for notifications so you can have your questions answered the next time I do one of these. But either way, stick around and I'm sure it will be of value to you even if you are watching this after the fact. But those of you who are here live, thank you so much. If you have a question, use #question. That's so I can be sure to spot your question to me instead of comments in the live chat to each other. After all, this is also a community video where friends check in about how their slots play has been going lately and the weather and everything else. And so let me put that banner up so you can see it, I hope. And my little Saboteur cat is standing on the modem. But it doesn't look like he's going to be. Was that you, Chuck? Chuck, once again, he renamed my cat Saboteur #1 and Saboteur #2. And then over here is my associate producer cat. And then under the table is my intern. My intern, my dog, Isaac, a couple of months ago, he was shedding. I never had a dog before, much less a puppy, and he's a year 14 months old now. And I recently found out that he hadn't been shedding, that now he's shedding. So he's had a brush and he's much more comfortable going forward. And so, but in any case, and thanks to the other creators of Slots channels that are quietly watching my live streams. I'm glad so many of you have decided to watch. Educating yourself is important, and the gradual passing down of my concepts onto your audience members is how our industry grows and improves. So please enjoy the show. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me at john@professorslots.com. Valentine, thank you so much for your donation, $49.99. I very much appreciate it. I very much appreciate it. Thank you very much. So I've been, I took like 2.5 days off, which is like extraordinary for me. In case you'd wondered where I was, I took a vacation. I didn't mean to talk about the weather. No, now they're talking about the weather in the chat. I didn't mean to. I took a 2 to 3 day vacation. Where did I go? I went to a cabin in the woods. This is me in a cabin in the woods. Okay. Well, as it happens, it was a staycation because I have a cabin in the woods. That's where I live. This view behind me of various things going on is not something I put up. It is not a background display because it'd be great if they did that, where I could have like a cat moving around. See, there's Saboteur #2. There's Saboteur number 1 or 2. I don't know. So Yes, I was on my porch. I should show that again. A big thank you to my sister for showing, for giving me that. That was made by a chainsaw by an artist at a convention that she went to, that she dragged me along with her to Louisville, and she entered her business card into a bucket, and at the end of the day, she won one of the prizes. And she's like, "Well, I think this looks a lot better on your porch than it does on my porch, so I'm going to give it to you." So thank you to my sister for that. Anyway, in case people were wondering. So as perhaps you know, I examine the monthly return statistics offered by 20 US states. Some of these states offer player win percentages, which go back for decades, as we'll see. But please understand that this side project of mine takes a lot of time. So I've taken it, I'm taking it state by state. So far, I've provided state return to player reviews for 14 of these 20 states and over about the last 2 years. Mostly only going back to 2019 or so, but a lot of the data goes back decades. So it's one of the things I want to do. But why is it taking me so long? They're all different kinds of formats. Most state return documents, as we'll see, are not spreadsheets where I can just easily cut and paste. They're all different formats, usually a rather unwieldy format. In any case, I'll present what data I've downloaded and cut and pasted into spreadsheets, on which I've plotted many colorful graphs. However, you won't. I hope you don't mind looking at a few graphs today. I think they are fascinating, and it's a window into casinos' financial goals and plans for us. So let's start with Connecticut. I've got a request in the live chat about showing you where to get this data. So I will explain. There are 20 US states that offer monthly return statistics. Every state does it differently. I've shown you several times Nevada, a few less times New Jersey, but if you want to know where the instructions for where to go at the State Gaming Commission to download this all yourself, it's publicly available information. And every time it's different. So go to professorslots.com/ and then the 2-letter postal designation for your state. This will be my article on your state, my slots article on your state. And this is what it looks like for Connecticut. So it will start with the title. It'll have a brief introduction. If I can, some of them have videos, so you can hear it, watch it instead. And some of these will also have podcast episodes, which will be right after that. This is the standard format that I'm using. I've gone through every state 4 to 5 times, and it took me 13 months to do it each time. So I've been at it for like 5 years now, and I had to figure out what I wanted to put into these documents. It wasn't until I went through all 56 of them, because there's territories, states, territories, federal district, and I do all of them, that I realized that I needed to add something. So I went back to it the second year, added some stuff. And then at the end of that year, I'm like, well, there's like 1 or 2 more things I want to do. So I went through it again after another 13 months, my third 13 months. And so I ended up with these sections, and it seems pretty stable at this point. Relative legal statutes, whether or not you can own a slot machine privately. This is information about the Gaming Control Board, but the return statistics are actually elsewhere. Some have 2, some have none. The casinos, including proposed casinos, whether they're commercial or tribal or both, a map. That was one of the last things I added. Kind of in Connecticut, where might you go outside of Connecticut? That would be a connected a state across the border, and where it is in the United States, because mostly I just point to the South Pacific when it's in the South Pacific on a world map. There's also an associated Facebook page where if I can't be at every casino, there's 1,000 of them. If I went to 2 a week, it would take me 10 years to go to all of them. That's with 2 weeks off per year, and I'd never be home at my lovely cabin. So this is where you can go to talk to people in your state and who might be there right now, or last night, or last week, or last month, or in the last 10 years. That's where people can connect with locals going to their casino. Now, this is the section I wanted to tell you about. It's actually two different things: theoretical payouts and return statistics. Two separate things. The payouts are actually payout limits. Not every state offers these theoretical payouts, and some only offer the minimum, and some only offer the maximum, and one offers only the maximum, and then a bunch of them offer minimum and maximum. In any case, we are looking at the second part of this, which is return statistics. So if you click on this monthly return statistics by casino, it will direct you to this page, which is the ct.gov. And so this is all very confusing. So I have instructions on most states on where to go. They talk about online gaming, sports wagering, statistics of what money's going into the general fund, and then return statistics. So this is, there's a chart that usually it shows this. It's very hard to spot it, but down here is view data source. Like I said, every state's different. So this is publicly available, but doesn't mean it's easy. And this is this year's returns for Connecticut casinos with this first part. Let me see if I can highlight that for you just a little bit. And so let me make sure I can do that. So there. So here is for June. May is there, April, March, February, January. So this is just this year. And if you go to right there, you'll see the return percentage for first one's Foxwoods and the second one is Mohegan Sun. I apologize if you're on a phone and it's very small. This is going to be a rush of different things to show you. I wasn't really going to show this, but I had a question about where to get this information. So this is Connecticut. And if you go to Delaware, again, same article, relevant legal statutes, what the privately owning a slot machine details are, the gaming commission, what casinos are there, state map, across the border, where it is in the United States, the Facebook group, and then again, theoretical payouts and return statistics, where you can click down here. It says monthly return statistics are online at this link. So let's go to that link. And so there's two sets of data. The proceeds and track data is the one you want. And that's what it looks like here. So this is 2022. The first one here is January. And we'll get through this. I just want to show kind of like a couple of different ways that they do it. And so the reason I wanted to show you this one is they don't give the return percentage. But if you divide amount won by amount played, you get a percentage. And this is part of the reason that it's taking me so long, because I have to copy two numbers for each casino in each state and then divide them and then graph them. And so it all becomes kind of like a bit. And I'll do one more, which is Florida, because I'll show you the data for Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, and we'll start working on this recession indicators, legal statutes, private ownership, gaming control board, and casinos, and across the border, including Puerto Rico and U.S. Virgin Islands. There's some boats that are available, as some of you know, the Florida community, which is rather large. And then there's here. Now, the commercial casinos, just to explain briefly, in Florida, there are tribal casinos and no returns are available. And no theoretical payout limits are available. But the commercial casinos in Broward and Miami-Dade counties, which would be Fort Lauderdale and Miami, they are available. And so I've done a report on this, but you can go here to look at the slot revenues 2001 to 2022. See, it goes back to 2006. And then this is what their forms look like. And they do provide, is that right? Oh, they also don't provide the return percentage. And so I have to divide out credits out divided by credits in for each month to get that percentage. Okay, enough about where this comes from. We could do this 56 different times, rather, excuse me, 20 different times, because only 20 of the 56 states, territories, federal district offer this. But all 20 are different. Some of them you have to look into the meeting minutes for one particular meeting of the state gaming commission, and all that's, I tell you where to go and how to find it, but it's all publicly available information. Okay, so let's take a look at Connecticut. Again, it's a little messy. It's if you've on a small device. My father is usually on a big television monitor, so he has no problem seeing this. But some of you might be on a portable device, and so a phone. So it might be a little harder to see. But I try to use the big mouse. This is Connecticut, all their data. They started, and I'll hover around this. It started in January 1993. That was at Foxwoods. But then in October 1996, 3 years, 10 months later, Mohegan Sun opened, and you can see the ramp up to try to get people to come to Foxwoods when they knew that the Mohegan Sun was being built. And then Mohegan Sun started high, but then immediately dropped low, and they've been pretty much matched ever since. But there's something here with this spike that I wanted to talk to you about. So this is, I'm just zooming in. The Great Recession has taken place. The Great Recession of 2000, let's see, December 2007, the end of 2007 through June 2009 is when it's officially the Great Recession. So let's take a look at what the last recession is, and while we hope that we don't have a current recession, and see what happens. So December 2009 is November here. That is December 2007. December 2007 was the start of the Great Depression. So the returns went up especially at Foxwoods. It went up also and kept going up another month after that for Mohegan Sun, but not as much. And then it kind of dropped down. So it did not go down. It was a startling rise, 2 percentage points. Let's go to Delaware. This is, a big mess. There's 3 casinos, and then the orange one is the total. So let me take that and just look at just the total. And this is they started in January 1996. And we've talked in the past about how each of these casinos started. This is the almost red is Bally's Dover, the blue is Delaware Park, and then that was 1 month later, and then about 6 months later, Harrington started high and then dropped. But that's something else I pointed out here in the past. But let's look at December 2007. Where is that on here? It is here at that peak. So as we know, if we are going to enter a recession, we knew well in advance that something was happening. So all of this was in 4 months from August 2006, or rather a year beforehand. And so they drove that up. And that was what was going on with the returns well in advance. So what we're kind of like looking at, and I want to come back here, is start looking at, but I'll do Florida next. We'll start looking back at, are we seeing this behavior already, even if we're not technically in a recession? Okay, so again, quite a mess. all of the different casinos. But if we look at the total, if we zoom in on December 2009 through December 2007 through June 2009, they didn't start. This is what they went back to the opening of these casinos. So this is Gulfstream Park. It opened in December 2006, and then Big Easy opened in December 2006 as well. Actually, November for Gulfstream Park, and then a couple months after that, in May 2007, was when Isle Pompano, and then all the way over here at Calder is 2009. So I've shown a year before and a year after the Great Recession, and so 2007, December 2007, is here. This is 2007. So no big drop. It didn't jump like the first two states, but there's no big drop. And so the question that I got was, will states return statistics as casinos tighten up? And it didn't at the Great Recession. There's other things I can show you with all these other states, but I'm afraid you might be a little bit tired of graphs. And I usually only talk for like the first 20 minutes during a live stream. There's Colorado, Illinois, this is just for their video lottery terminals at bars and taverns, and it's now the lowest it's ever been. And Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky. Feel free to back up. This is Louisiana. They have state regions, 4 state regions instead of casino by casino. The 3 casinos in Massachusetts and Mississippi, and they have 3 state regions. New Jersey, which of course is Atlantic City. Go to Harrah's because they're consistently high. Ohio, and what is this? Belterra Park. That was the local casino where I won a car and I won many hand pays. And there's a whole thing about Ohio where there's 7 racetracks with slot machines, and then there's 4 casino results, and they each have their own gaming commission with identical laws. The horse tracks have the state lottery, and then there's gaming commission for the 4 resorts, and the 4 resorts are always better returns than the 7 racetracks. These are all reports that I talk about. If you are in one of these states, you should know this. It can help. It can point out obvious differences. This is Pennsylvania. And I did this additional data because I had a consultation with somebody who was very interested in going to parks and wanted to know what their return statistics were lately. That was their local casino. So I filled that one in, but didn't do the others. So if you want me to hurry it up I apologize so much. Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. And like I said, I did this extension for a customer or client for one of my paid consultations and to answer their question on where things are at for them. Okay. Whew. Lots of questions here. Let's see. Where am I at? Yes. So one of the questions that I got was, where do I obtain? Matthew was asking, where do I obtain the payout returns on casinos, particularly for that? What casinos are keeping from you video that I linked in the live chat, and I will link later. And in the regular comments. Yes, and this is where, if you have a particular question about which state, they're all different. And some of them are actually a little bit hard. And some of them are like, cut and paste, and you can't even do that. Sometimes you have to type the numbers and the pay in, pay out. Sometimes it's only hold percentage. Anyway, this is just simple math, but it's a lot of spreadsheet work. And if you want me to do it, you just pay me and I'll do it. Otherwise, it's kind of low priority, and I know it's important, but it's kind of on the back burner, and I try to do something like once a week. It's actually ending up to being like once every 2 weeks. Important to higher priority stuff, but I do keep track on this. Next question is Noel. Heading to Las Vegas in October, we'll be reviewing Nevada's return to play results. Should I review October 2021 as well, assuming similar metrics, or is it still too close to the pandemic? So yes, it isn't too close to the pandemic. Certainly, if you had asked me this October last year, then I would have been like, oh no, are they even open? Yeah, I guess they're back open, and so it would be no good baseline. But last year in October, it should be fine. But if you go to, let me see if I can put that away and come back to, where is it? This, yes. So let's do that. All right, so I'll share this, which is, I will type in professorslots.com/NB for postal designation for Nevada. I will go to Nevada's theoretical payouts and returns. The casino section's extra long because I want to put a link to every casino so you can find it. That's useful information there, and that's the map. I just put in cities because there's way too many to show every casino's location. And then we go to gaming revenue information on the State Gaming Commission. I know you know how to find it, Noel, but this is where maybe other people have not. So the most recent return is June 2022. Usually around the 15th of the month, they'll do the previous month. And so July is not yet available. If we click on this, we'll come to a PDF. It's always the same. It's a long document. Here are the pages. It's 44 pages. But you're looking for Las Vegas, which is in Clark County. If you're going to the Las Vegas downtown, that's one thing. Or you're going to the Strip, that's another. And it's broken down by all casinos, and then it's otherwise broken down by revenue. So we'll just go to Las Vegas Strip because all these are identical. Should be page 8, I think. And yes, oh, no. 8 is downtown, so we want the Strip. There's downtown, the Strip, and all casinos. So if we do this, we are looking at Clark County, Las Vegas Strip area, all locations. And if we go down to here, we are looking at slot machines for June 2022. And that would be the win percentage for these denominations. But over here is the 3-month average. And over here is a 12-month average. But if you're asking about October from the year before and just that, which is a fine idea, you can check there and see how it's going. I mean, it's not just a fine idea, it's an excellent idea to check that sort of thing, because we can see what January is like, February is like, and too often it's a surprise of, well, I thought the month before was great, why isn't it great this year? Well, maybe it's just on a system. It's because nobody has money in the new year because they spend it all on Christmas and Thanksgiving. It's any business knows that. And so, but if we have like a economic downturn this year and not last year, then we can't compare. So it's if you invest in stocks or bonds, whatever, if you have a business, this is natural to you. You have spreadsheet skills. And so, yeah, you go and do it. Well done. Um, and let's see. Uh, sorry, Juan. Juan says, I lost $900 the other day. I'm sorry to hear that. Um, uh, let's see. Okay, weather. Um, uh, I'm just reading about how we all hate community. Oh, thank you for informing me my saboteur was on the move. And I did enjoy, Jan, Texas Tootsie, says, I hope you enjoyed your staycation. Well, outside of all these messages I got about, getting some of these wristbands in the mail, that was fine. Um, and so questions. Okay. So Na says, is online gambling the same as normal gambling? Maybe someday. If you played at casinos like in the 70s, when Atlantic City just opened in 78, online slots is kind of like that. It's just what they call the wild, wild west. There's just trying to stay ahead of the law, sort of a situation. And there's just so much going on with online slots right now that it's a dangerous place. If you want to find out more about that sort of thing, I have a recommendation for you, which is here. Let me show you that. Free, of course. And so if you go to professorslots.com/podcast, you'll see my podcast episodes. I mean, podcasts are free. You can get them just about anywhere. I try to make sure I'm worldwide. And if you go down to, I think it's episode number 165 here, Jesse is someone that I interviewed, and we talked for, how long was it? Just over an hour. Jesse is a information technologies expert, and his area of expertise is security. So this is the person who gets, how passwords work, how the internet operates, and if they're, if it's nefarious or it's not nefarious, all these different subtleties having to do with online slots, and we talk about it. And so if you want to know more about the dangers of online slots and what you might need to be safe, that is a place that I put that. Otherwise, I don't really talk about online slots because, again, it is it is just such a a wild, wild west out there. Shoot them up and take no prisoners. Right. Hey, Colin. Is the cat a treat? Is my picture on? That's the front porch. Okay, I haven't even shown you the back porch, and I got a deck too. It's the house is mostly porches. um, let's see. And Steve asked the question. I've noticed that. Right. Good. I've noticed that the jackpots at my local casino are run, you're Wisconsin, right? Tribal, are running smaller paybacks, like mostly $2,500 and down. A lot of them in that are 1,500 and just over 1,200 possible recession already. But then we saw the data, and the data says they know people aren't. The data says that they either stay the same or go up on the returns. So this isn't about jackpot sizes. This is about money they give back, percentage wise. And so there was no dip. It was only stay the same or go up, depending on the casino. So it could be something else. Now, is it possible they'll turn it down? Is it, is it really the recession? Will there even be a recession, or did that all start like 6 months ago because they saw it coming? They can make a different decision in 2022 than they did in 2007. In December 2007, they might make a different decision in August 2022, but that's what the decision they made then. And they were just trying to get people to come in instead of not come in. They knew they had to draw them in, and so those that went up the return statistics and the return percentage were trying to get people to come in, and people were reluctant. That's what a recession is. Recession is people don't like to spend money. They stopped doing that, and that's a recession. So the casinos are like, how do we get people in here? Yes, Steve, and that's absolutely right. The casino floor is not as full. People don't want to come in. And so what are the casinos going to do? I mean, this is just logic, right? This is okay. So I have a business. What does it mean? This is what happens. And so, and so what happens is people aren't spending money, and you can see that in the casinos. But the casino's response is, how do we get these people in here? And if they can make it the best ever winning, then, we looked at the data, we saw the returns. We don't know if it worked. It could have been half the people and we wouldn't know. We just know that the half the people that went had a better return. Yeah, it doesn't say whether or not it did its job of getting people back into the casino, but it is certainly a setting that the casinos took, and it's a record. Yeah. And an opportunity for us. Yeah, I would not debate that with you, Dougie. It's harder to slots this year than last year. Honestly, though, for me, it's always been harder this year than the last year. And it's not just me. I mean, I know there's the whole pandemic and everything like that. And what an awful situation, but it seems like the comps are less, the rewards programs are tightening up, and from my data, not just subjectively, but looking at my data for the slots returns, for my personal return, doing everything I know how to do at the same casino, I saw it go down. Yeah. So I think what you're seeing is likely true, but it helps if you know, because there's a strong feeling for all of us, like it's of the good old days. And I'm a scientist. I'm and an engineer and a businessman, and not easy to do. There's the degrees right there, and trying to find all the different ways to speak to this. You want to cut out bias, and we all have our internal biases, and trying to be careful about, do I feel that way, or do I have some data that we look at and can analyze? But yes, Jen says, friend got 2 hand pays Sunday, July 31st, and good bankroll built up on Thursday afternoon. I've been hearing all kinds of that. My touchstone nationwide is on my Facebook groups, my 57 Facebook groups, 56 states, territories, federal district, and one more with 18,000 plus people, members, who just talk about their wins. And it has been up lately. Casinos are busy during the day due to 100-degree temps. Isn't air conditioning great? I know my dog loves it. And using the cooling there and not so much at home. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that something? there's a lot of business factors to consider about this. And let me take Gina's question. Do you think April is one of the best months to go to the casino and win? It is one of the best, partly because January and February is terrible, and a little bit of March. And so April is kind of like the comeback. And so it feels really obvious. But then December has been wonderful in all parts. It's just incredibly busy, incredibly active, and lots of win. And it's just the busiest time at the casino, both for winning and everything else. But then it's so shocking when it's January 2nd, not January 1, January 2nd, and it's just like they chopped it off. And it's and you go, oh, that's right. I forgot. It's been a couple of months. I lose. And so these changes take place. If you look at your gaming records, you can see if you keep them, you can see the difference between month to month to month to month. But of course, if you only go a couple times a year, that's one thing. But some people go like 3-4 times a week. Always take the same amount of money, and you can compare. It's all apples to apples, not apples to oranges. I was just having a consult just the other day with somebody who was on kind of the border between South Dakota and Iowa, and I was pointing out the gaming regulations for Iowa versus South Dakota, and all Iowa casinos, it's the most mature gaming industry of any U.S. state. There's a casino within 1 hour's drive of every resident, and they hit it hard, hit it early, and they're full market penetration, and they're saturated. So, and the state law is that you can't get the theoretical return per wager cannot be more than 100%, which means a lot of the things I talk about aren't allowed by the casino to set up a machine to win. They can set up a machine to break even because that's legal, but not to win all the time and didn't collect money from the games nearby from all the players that get excited over that. And it's really noticeable. But the next state over it doesn't have that rule. Now, then South Dakota, tribal casinos in the eastern edge of that, they have Class 2 games and Class 3. And I was advising watch out for the Class 2 because that's kind of very limited in what you can do, but you can do this thing. But then the Class 3, it's all open. But if you don't know the difference, then half the time you're wasting your money because you're playing a Class 2 machine with Class 3 strategies. And so I wanted to tell him, that's his opportunity there. It's really hard when the it's really hard. Jan, come on, Jan. Sorry, I saw something she said. It's really hard when the state gaming regulations are working against you, against us, right? I love it when a casino is like trying to manipulate you because you can manipulate them right back. But when the state gaming regulations are fair, darn it. It's so limiting. And the casinos don't like it either because these techniques help them. Yeah. Thank you, Gina, for the donation. It is a jumping lemon, I think, that I can't see here, but you can see in the live chat. Thank you so much. It is appreciated. Yeah, I hear you, Dougie. I'd rather play in a packed casino than that's very busy than one that's not. On the other hand, there are super packed casinos, Hard Rock Tampa, Yamava in California, these where people are like, how do I even get on any machine? And that becomes something that they would prefer to be able to pick which machine rather than the last one available, like musical chairs. Camilla, yeah, and I don't mean to say that you can't win when it's really low, but go easy. It's still fun. Stretch your dollar. That's might be what you're limited to. This is not your luck. This is what the casino's doing with settings. And so, it's hard to, I just love it when things are at a better baseline, so I don't have to work as hard to bring it up to winning. On the other hand, bring it up to more than winning, even higher. So that starting at that baseline, which is what baselines are all about, you can get that much player win percent better because of your skill. But if you start higher, then you end higher. And I don't mean to explain that that way. That's how baselines work. So going back to casinos at the end of December, yeah, go easy. If you've been away for a while, I know you have, take it easy and get used to it, and take that as an opportunity to do some reconnaissance and look around. And, you've been here for a year or so. I know that we talked about your situation, and go see what it's like and kind of look around at everything that you might now see at your casino, and begin to understand them really well. And PNT de Black, the ones, it is common knowledge that unless you're doing a live stream like this, and you're at a casino, then everything's being edited out. And if they stop a live stream, start a live stream, and then that's a recording, but it looks like a live stream, because they might, if the hand pay is coming along, do they show the whole hand pay? Oh, please tell me your social security number. And then you just say it. Oh, yeah, that's right. I got a live stream going. Now everybody knows my social security number. Long losing streaks and other information is edited out on almost everything. And Brian Christopher was straight up about it 2 years ago, or actually a year ago was when he stopped doing this, which was, or he said he was going to stop doing it. I haven't actually checked. I know he did stop for a while, which was nobody wants to see me losing. So yeah, record all day and make enough videos for 2 per day for the whole week. And somebody else edits it. And so he spends 1 day a week at the casino, and every other day he's working on brand deals, like getting his own game theme, which is, he's our leader in the slots community. And it's great that he did that, because rising tide raises all boats. Rising tide raises all boats. And that's awesome. So yes, that's how that works. There are a lot of riverboat casinos that are going away. There's the ones in Mississippi that got hit by the hurricanes, and so they were allowed to rebuild on land they already owned. And then there's something similar going on in Illinois and in Indiana. Yes, I have noticed that. It's been going on for a while. Timothy says, I live in Utah and visit Vegas often, and going in a couple of weeks, we'll follow your 5-pull method. Yes, I may be doing a job transfer to Biloxi, Mississippi area. What do you think of the Mississippi casinos using your methods? Check with the group. I had plans to go to Biloxi, but the person that I was going with, going to meet down there, I had 3 trips planned, and the first 2 worked out, but the third did not. Ended up having some medical problems, so we never ended up going to Biloxi. And they were going to show me around and do all of that. I went with Chuck to Missouri, Ameristar in Missouri, and then Texas Tootsie Jan went to Lake Charles region, Coshada, Golden Nugget, Delta Downs. Learned tons about the different setups that they have, and it was great to see all that. I wish I could travel a lot more, but um, it's like I said, if I went to 2 a week for, all year long, it would take 10 years to get to all of them. So it's kind of like, ugh. Um, oh, hey, Timothy, you're also in the aerospace field as a senior systems engineer. Yep, my degree from the University of Michigan, my bachelor's degree from the University of Michigan is systems engineering. And I enjoyed getting that. They were thinking I was going to go into automotive, uh, and and yeah, yeah. I enjoy talking to my professors these days. Um, so one thing I didn't share with you today is my where is it at? Right. So improve your slots performance in 30 days or less with my 30 days to play slots smarter and win. You also get 3 free valuable bonuses, including 1 month free to my Slots IQ membership, where you get community support and accountability. Visit professorslots.com/30 days to learn more about the free bonuses, course content, and testimonials from participants. One of the things and this is that page, or rather, this is that page. 30 days. I think I used it for something else that I was going to show you. So, and if you click a green button here, then that'll take you to the sign up page. And so this is where all the tele testimonials and the course outline and what's going on in each section, why it's important. There's all those different sections, and the bonuses are discussed as well. So take a look at that if you're interested. Ask anybody in the live chat and they'll tell you how wonderful that they like it, or you can just read their wonderful things. So one of the things I did while I was taking my 2 to 3 day break, watching my grass grow, I realized my break was over when I saw that I need to cut my grass. One of the things that I did was make 48 shorts, short videos for YouTube, and those I'm building up my slots question and answer library. They've still had like 10 more to go. They're coming out daily, and so I've got 50 more loaded up total. 58 loaded up total, and so I'm glad to get those put up there for you. And as time goes by, it'll become a better library, and so it's all very searchable, and get your answers there. Again, this is all the free stuff that I offer. Uh, let's see. Mani says, actually, I'm looking at Steve. I haven't been able to prove that multi-denomination machines odds change. I've been trying, but haven't seen any change. Your thoughts? So you're talking about playing each denomination in a multi-denomination machine and seeing which one might have a better return. If they don't, I mean, it's independently set on a multi-denomination machine. It doesn't mean that it's set different. It can be set different. Okay. So if you're seeing the same return, then your casino doesn't do it. I mean, I assume that you put a little bit of effort into it and did it consistently, same machine, tried the different odds. It doesn't have to be set differently. And I think my dog's got hiccups, in case you were wondering what that noise was. And Mani says, are you familiar with Resorts Casino in Queens, New York? I think there was just somebody, oh no, I was doing one of the shorts that I was doing was talking about going there. Yeah, one of the testimonials I got was about going there and winning big time on it. What do you want to know? I have, if you go to professorslots.com, let's see, where am I going here? If I go to, got a lot of windows open. So let's do that and go to professorslots.com/New York. New York is pretty fascinating. If you, they've got it is the, how do I put this? There's more different types of gaming than any other state. I mean, cruise ships, tribal casinos with compacts, some without, some with, which means the first can only have class 2, the second can have class 3, and then there's commercial casinos. There's these resorts. So there's racetracks with slot machines, casino resorts, tribal casinos, 7 of them with class 3, 4 of them with class 2. It's all over the state, and not even including cruise ships coming out of the Manhattan terminal. And so this is a lot going on. And so when I break down the return statistics, I have to talk about each of those. And if you're asking about resorts, Resorts World, I believe you can go to, it's a commercial casino, so you can go to the New York State Gaming Commission, and is it that one? Waiting for it to load up. And then you can go to, I think it's the commercial gaming reports. Yes. And then you go to Resorts World. Oh, that's Catskills. Video gaming would be Resorts World Casino, New York City, and Jamaica. I think that's what you're talking about. And if you do the weekly financial reports, so this is one of the few states that does it weekly. You can go here and your choice of weekly or monthly, and you can look at the return statistics there. Yeah. And hi, Jill. Good to see you. Let's see here. We've got Tim. Where are the builders of these slot machines? A lot of them are in New York, but they're actually the primary ones are IGT. I don't even want to. The primary one is IGT. A distant second is Scientific Games. And then a distant third is all the others. So I have an article on the slot machine manufacturers. You can check that out. I'm not going to be able to pull it out in any reasonable amount of time here for you. If you want to send me an email at john@professorslots.com, I'll be happy to send you the links to my IGT article, my Scientific Games article. I review the annual financial reports to the SEC. It's a great way to find out what they're doing. They are legally required to be in layman's terms on how they speak. Sure, they make it like a 300-page report, but if you can just get through it, it's easy to read, and they are legally required to be honest, which means they might try to market stuff on it, but it's really because it's really for investors, but they actually cannot lie. And so whenever you talk to somebody, they're not legally required to tell the truth. And so this document is got that kind of clarity. And so I in those articles, I talk about how to pull it up and get it. One of the things I'm looking at lately is a couple of the companies that means these companies that make slot machines don't just make slot machines. They make computer servers, lottery terminals, have contracts. They're global companies, and they understand each gaming jurisdiction and apply what their product to that gaming industry, to that gaming jurisdiction. And they have to do 176 of them, around the world. Or they are in 176 of them. And so that's what sort of thing that they talk about. And I like going through 2 of them because I can see kind of like the differences, and it tells me a lot about the industry. And they talk about the competitors and what they offer over their competitors and what their competitors don't offer. It's all very, stock markets, bonds. It's sort of like investor information. And I love how they don't share their trade secrets, but they do share, well, we have this capability now. They don't say how they have it. And so that's, again, for investors. And so slot machines are only part of it, but there are other companies that supply them with games and are like, they contract out a lot of the game producers, game designers, and that's who they sell their games to. And then they offer this portfolio of games that they've collected. They're specialists in the games area, and they sell those games to the major slot machine manufacturers. Now, the slot machine manufacturers also do that. They also do that same thing. But when you're a specialist, I worked for a company in aerospace that made the jet engines, because Boeing and Cessna and all the different slot machine or plane manufacturers weren't specialized enough to do engines, because you had to focus and you had to have this knowledge. And it's, will there ever be another engine manufacturer? No. And so this structure of how slot machine manufacturers work and all that they do, and I'm starting to, I've looked into them, but I'm starting to look into their vendors. And there's a software company that makes casinos how to use their central server in a more efficient manner. And it's, artificial intelligence solutions. I can't share it because YouTube will get upset with me not showing copyrighted information, but it's something that I was sharing with my group on Thursday night, our Slots IQ group, and I'm just like, blown away by this. Again, I took a couple of days off, but by Thursday night I was back on it. Yeah, good question. I think it's just fascinating what they're doing. Now, I understand that there are some things that the people who just play slot machines might not be interested in, but I find all this interesting, and I try to share what you need to know about your state in terms of return statistics. Even if you only glance at it, you can find out which casino is better and has been better for the last 20 years because they chose to be better on the return statistics. Not every state has it, but those that do, it's valuable information, and that's millions of people, all of which should come here, and soon, please. Mr. Beast on YouTube went over 100 million subscribers. First person to go over 100 million subscribers. And I was watching, and I'm like, oh, come on, man. So thank you, everybody. It has been an hour, and I will wish you well. That's it. What a great live stream. I'll see you in my next live stream on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. In the meantime, watch this video on why casinos have kept winning at slots. Secret from you. Thanks.